Hi, I'm Nigel Carpenter, and this is a short screen share that shows how to set up the PDF parser that we've created for the Machine Learning in Reserving Working Party. So the files required to run the PDF parser locally have been shared on my GitHub account. That's carpenn in the folder PDF parser. What you need to do is git clone this to a local folder, and then run the app, or compile and run the app. Now it works in Linux, so if you're a Windows user, it might work. I haven't tried it, but it definitely works for Linux. But let me take you through the steps of getting going. So we'll start off with in a folder. So I've created a folder on my home directory called PDF demo. And the first step I want to do is to clone into that folder my GitHub repo. So the way I would do that is open a terminal in that folder. So you see I'm in the folder there, and I want to clone this URL. So go back to our terminal, and I'd go git clone and paste the URL. And that should clone into the folder the source code. I'm going to confuse myself for too many folders open now. So you'll see that that's now got that cloned folder in PDF parser. Now that's not sufficient it's the source code, but it does need to be, let's call it compiled. And if you follow the instructions down here, before you can use the app, you've number one got to install npm. And that'll just bring some extra folders, some extra utilities into that folder. So in my terminal, in the PDF demo folder, in fact I want to go down and browse a file. So let me go to it's been into PDF parser, PDF. Should be able to tab, yeah. And then I want to go npm install. This PDF parser app, while we wait for this to be done, I can't say that I wrote it. I just asked Google AI Studio to write it, and it chose to do it with npm, whatever that is. I've got no idea. So that you should see. I prefer to go in one of these browsers. Is added this little folder called Node Modules. That's all the npm stuff, whatever that is. So let's go back to the GitHub repo. We do need to set a Gemini API key. So we're going to locally pass a web app a PDF. That PDF is going to get sent to Google's Gemini AI service and decoded, and preset questions that I've set up in the web app will be asked of that PDF. So you need to have an API key and your billing associated with it in order to run this app. And whilst I'd love to share mine, I don't think I can afford for it all to be run. So you'll need to set up your own. Now to do that, there is a hidden file called env.local in the PDF parser location. So let's go in there. Now you won't be able to see it because it's hidden. So if we unhide it, show hidden files, and then env local. We want to edit that, and so here is where we need to put our Gemini API key. So let's go to a browser and get a Gemini API key. So I'm signed into Google AI Studio using my Google account. And if you go to Google AI Studio, you can get an API key. So I've already got a couple here. which I'll have to remove before I publish this, but let me create a new API key. You can follow the instructions on how to set them up appropriately with a billing accounts if you don't have them, and associate them with various projects and settings. And I encourage you to follow those instructions. But it should be the case that I can just press create a key. That's created a new key for me. I can copy that key, go back to the local file, put that key in there, save that file, come over there, and apologies, I'm losing it a little bit. Get back to our instructions. So we've updated that env local. Now I need to run the app. So it's just this command again in the terminal window. So there's the terminal window. Make sure you're in the PDF parser folder. Paste. And this should create a web app, which is done using npm. So you can then control and click on that local host link, and it should fire up the web app. Now, there's not much to this web app. It's been kept fairly light. There's number one, an area where you drag and drop or click and give it a folder name, drag and drop a PDF. Then there are a number of questions, and you can add extra questions if you so wish, or you can save questions to a template and load them to a template, but by default it loads the questions we have currently been asking in the working party of papers. Okay, so they're already set up. There's the questions. Then you can just run the analysis and results will appear on your right. So let me show you that in action. Firstly, I've got to drag and drop a PDF of a reserving paper of some sort. So let me go to a browser file folder, and that's I've got some papers already downloaded. I'm in the process of putting through this parser, so I'm going to do this one. So I think I've already done the others. So I'll take that, I'm going to drag and drop it into the upload to PDF. The questions by default are the questions I want. So I can now press run analysis. It should take the API key I've just set in to the folder, and should be using Gemini's AI service, using Gemini 2.5 Flash. We're not using 3. The one it uses is set in the source code. If you wanted to use 3, I'm sure you can change the source code to use it. But it should be extracting the results. And the results are done in JSON. That's for convenience, because it gives you the ability to ask whatever you like in these questions. You can ask a question and ask multiple questions in a question. And JSON is just a neat way of coping with anything, really. So you get these JSONs for every question and answer in JSON format, and you can export them. That's just going to save a file in your downloads folder with this startname.json. Okay, so I should be able to go to my downloads folder. A bit of a mess, I'd imagine. And downloads. Oh, never take hidden files off my downloads. And there it is there. It's popped up on the screen. So what you get is a file, you see it in JSON format. What's the title of this paper? Provide an explanation with a confidence score. Provide it in JSON format, blah, blah, blah. So it says the paper title is Penalising Unexplainability in Neural Networks. Yeah, why does it believe that? What's the title is explicitly stated at the beginning of the document. Immediately, I'm 100% confident in the answer. Right, so you get this sort of format of answers. Pretty easy to work with. We've done one there. We want to do another one. Then, and it's just a simple case of finding another file. Apologies, I've got lots of these. And I keep forgetting where everything is, 99 scratch papers, neural networks. Let's pick another one. Let's do deep triangle. Let's run analysis. Wait a few seconds. There it is. Export the results and they'll be ready for you to work with. Now I've written some Python code that will turn the JSONs into CSVs, which I guess are easier to look at in a spreadsheet. And I will tag that into this recording. But in summary, GitHub repo, carpenm PDF parser, create a local folder, git clone this repo into that folder, run in the folder npm install, edit the env local folder to add your Gemini API key, so you can set them up in Google AI Studio, then run npm run dev. That will fire up a web app. From that web app you can process things, all quite simple. You might be thinking, how much is this going to cost? We've just processed 2 documents. I don't know if I'll be able to see the billings. I think it takes a while for it to appear. But you can see the usage. So, in fact, this is usage across the whole project, not by the. I will get it in a minute. Not by the API key. And I have tonight just to be checking things, making sure that things run. But I think it's pence per document, as opposed to pounds. But if you run 30 of them, it's going to cost you a few pounds, I suspect. Whatever your local currency is. We're using Gemini 2.5 Flash. You might notice that it's depending on how you set up your AI Studio rate limits, you might hit your rate limits if you run lots of them very quickly. So if you ever get problems, it's probably because you've exceeded your API request limits or what have you that are implicit or explicit in your setup. Right, I will wrap up there. Hopefully this has been helpful. If not, fire over questions, or if there are any questions rather, fire them over the normal channels and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you very much.